Welcome to another edition of Changing Lives. Now, today we're talking about the critical path and how it can help you to achieve your goals. Now, Tanya, when I think of critical path, I think of the quickest method in order to achieve a goal.
Well, it is and it isn't.
Okay.
So what needs to happen is it's a methodology in coaching that I use with my corporate clients. And we often have a huge workshop on how to actually build this and bring this together. So the process of a critical path is this. You start, the brain works in a Z for starters. So you start at the top and it's where do you want to be? So you have to choose where your destination is going to be. And then you have to date it by when. And usually 1 year is a good amount of time, but you can also have a 5-year plan. I personally find a 5-year plan a little bit long. Then you go to the bottom of the exercise and where am I now? And you define that in relation to where you want to be. Then there's a series of questions that get asked about how difficult do you think it is? How achievable do you think it is? How much motivation do you have? How badly do you want it? And so on and so forth. So there's a number of questions which just frame for you exactly how badly you really want to achieve this. And it also identifies obstacles. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I really focus on a lot are obstacles. And people often have their own blocks. You create your own blocks. So I focus a tremendous amount on that, right? So now we know where we're going and we also know where we are. Then the critical path is like, if you imagine a Z, it's that aspect that comes up like that. It's kind of like snakes and ladders. It's that ladder we're going to be climbing, right? So you want to look at all those rungs in the ladder. And the first rung at the very bottom is step 1. So you have to complete that in order to go to step 2. And you need to talk to all of these aspects. And what often happens is people don't realize quite how many steps you have to climb to achieve that goal. So they often underestimate the amount of effort. A critical path, step 1, needs to be dated, cemented, and also who needs to participate and who is accountable. And then those steps go from one to the next, all the way up to the top, and then your goal is achieved. And it can be as simple as putting a birthday party together or creating a strategy for a company. And it's a wonderful tool that can be used for corporates. Are there any questions that you have about it?
No, so I'm thinking, in terms of what you're describing, it's basically saying these are all of the steps really that I need to achieve in order to get to my goal. But you say you have a story about Cape Town in particular?
Well, I often say to people, if I was mom and I have a whole bunch of kids at home, and I say to them, we're going on holiday. And the kids go, fantastic, yay, I love going on holiday. Where are we going? And I go, I have no idea, but let's just go on holiday. What do we pack? I don't know. And there's this, often what happens in corporate is they go, we're going. And there's an ambiguous goal. And what we need to do is we need to establish a definite goal. But on the way to Cape Town, you can veer off, right? Now, if I go to the kids, same dynamic, and I say to them, kids, we're going on holiday. Let's say we're living in Johannesburg. And they say, Mom, where are we going? And I go, well, we're going to Cape Town. Now we have a destination. We know where we are. And then all the steps go into place. So what do we pack? What's the weather going to be like? We can do some research. We can understand that entire dynamic. So it's really exciting when you can actually start seeing what that looks like. So we can have a definite plan and a strategy, but we can veer off. And we can stop off and maybe go for breakfast at the Wimpy, or we could stop off and go past Graafrenet. We could decide where to go on the journey. So veering off is okay, but it helps you come back to that focus point of how to get there.
Okay, so let me change what I said the first time around, because now with that story, I'm actually putting into perspective. It's about knowing where you want to go, and I think there's a certain realization of how you're going to get there when you start to draw that snakes and ladders really in terms of how you're going to get to that goal.
Absolutely, and you can also start looking at what is going to work, what isn't going to work, and your thoughts can be, what's taking me closer to my goal? What's taking me further away from my goal? Who, how, what, when, where, finances, all of those dynamics come into play. It's almost like having a business plan on a page.
So I guess it ultimately comes back to the concept then of being conscious about where you're going and what you need to do in order to get there.
Oh, I'm coaching you so well on this series. You're getting it. We're going to see what happens. I'm really excited to see what happens to your life after this series has ended.
Snakes and ladders after this. That's what I'm doing.
Enjoy the critical path. Make it happen. Take the time to plan your way forward. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Yeah?
Fantastic. And I think that's where we'll leave it. Join us again soon for another edition of Changing Lives.